Dixon here, world's largest barbecue store. We've got Ted Reeder, godfather of the grill, and Ryan Parker from Q107. They're going to show you some great tips on the grill. Come on up and have a look.
All right, Ryan Parker with Chef Ted Reeder in front of Ontario Gas BBQ. What are we doing here, Teddy?
Pulling pork, baby.
I like
pulling some pork. So the basics of barbecue pulled pork, because in Canada here it's starting to be a very trendy item.
Okay.
But it takes a long time to prepare and do, and so I'm going to try and demystify pulled pork for you, okay? Because there's a couple of things you got to do. It will take time. You have to be patient, but I'll show you a few things. So first off, I like to use a pork picnic, and this is a bone-in pork picnic cut from the shoulder.
Okay.
I like the amount of fat that's in there, but the bone is the key for me, because when you're learning how to do pulled pork, the bone becomes the tell. So you take this pulled pork, and we've rubbed it down with my Bone Dust barbecue seasoning.
Okay.
I like to rub it down for about 24 hours so that all the flavor of the rub infuses into the meat a little bit. You've got lots of fat here on the picnic with the rind, and this nice thick layer of fat, which is going to keep your pork nice and moist as it smokes.
Do you purchase this at a butcher shop, grocery store?
Grocery store, but mostly butcher shop.
Okay.
And it weighs about 3 to 4 pounds.
Okay.
This can smoke in about 12 to 16 hours. Nice and easy. You can even do it a little bit faster, but it depends on the type of smoke.
Okay.
We're using a big steel keg. In a big steel keg, the art of smoking comes down to two things: low and slow. So when you smoke food, whether it be ribs or it's going to be brisket or it's going to be chicken, it all takes time. So low temperature for a long period of time. For pork, I look at the window of 180 degrees to 220 degrees, tapping out at the most 240, 250 on the high end.
Okay.
Because after you start going above 250, you start to roast the meat, not smoke the meat. So that low temperature will allow for the fat to render and baste, and it'll slowly cook for the long period of time. In the big steel keg, we're using charcoal. And you start with a small amount of charcoal. You don't need a lot. You keep your temperature low, and you got to control your fire, and you also have to add your smoke. So you're working with charcoal. I like to use briquettes when I'm smoking because it doesn't burn as hot and it doesn't burn as fast, and I don't have to replenish the charcoal as much.
Okay.
And then I've got wood chips, and these are hickory wood chips, and they're soaked in water. You can use mesquite, apple, pecan, any kind of wood chip you want. You can use chunks, you can use little logs, whatever suits you, and you can blend them together. So you could take apple and maple and hickory, and gives you a whole new flavor. So with the smoke, you infuse the flavor of the barbecue.
How long are those soaking for?
An hour. And you don't open. You just open it when you need to. The more you open it, the longer it takes to cook. You're letting out all that beautiful heat, and at low temperatures, you want to keep that heat in there. When you're smoking, it's getting it closed up and allowing minimum air in there, but just enough to keep the temperature consistent all the way through. So let's pop it open. We've got one already done, pork shoulder in here, and it's on what we call a plate setter.
Okay.
And this is all nice and clean. Like, they're never this clean when you're doing it, okay? This is just TV stuff, but this is nice and clean. But the tell is that when you can do this, all right, when you twist that bone and it comes out clean, that meat is ready to shred. And like, look, this rind comes off. And all that fat in there, this is all flavor. This is all the good stuff that makes pulled pork what pulled pork is. Beans.
Baked beans.
I want to talk about some beans here because I'm a big fan of beans, and these beans are Bush's baked beans. Bush's baked beans are out of the United States, and I don't know how many tins of this they sell in the United States, but I'll tell you, it's like 1 tin of beans every 5 seconds.
Come on.
It's crazy. And they're awesome, awesome, awesome beans. They're the best baked bean in the baked bean world. And you don't need to do anything to them. All I've done is in my big cast iron pot here, heated them up, and you get beautiful beans.
How long have these beans been on your cast iron pot, and again, the temperature? Because this is something I would throw this in the microwave. I wouldn't even think about putting this in the barbecue.
And that's what you could do.
Yeah.
You can even open it up and just set it on the grill.
This is kind of fun, though.
This is fun. You get the whole thing going, and it's perfect just on its own. You don't have to go crazy and dice up onions and change the flavor of it. Just do it. This is just nice and easy. Serve it with some coleslaw, and you got a phenomenal, phenomenal meal. So let's go over to the table here. We're going to scrape out this fat. It's very important. We're going to save it. We need that. That's
Save the
flavor.
fat.
All right, now, take the bone out. Take the bone out. All right, it's hot, but look at this.
It's falling apart.
It's just falling about. You don't even have to pull it. You don't have to do anything to it, right? It's just falling apart.
Oh, it smells so good, Teddy.
Take another bone out, whatever you find. I like to season it with a little bit of kosher salt.
Okay.
Be a little bit liberal with that. I like a few crushed red chilies. Adds a bit of zing to it.
Heat.
A little bit of heat. And then apple cider vinegar.
Okay.
And just, this is a North Carolina or a Western North Carolina style with the vinegar. But you don't need to load it up with lots of barbecue sauce. So now you get your hand in there and just kind of pull it. It's hot.
Okay.
With the gloves on, just pull it apart. Right? It's nice little pieces and shreds and chunks. That's all.
So that's all just for flavor.
It's all
You
just for
added it.
flavor.
Just for flavor.
See all this fatty goodness?
Throw it in there.
Throw it in there, because that's just right? And this is like candy. This is pig candy. That rind gets crispy. You know, how can this not be good?
It's meat candy.
Mm-hmm.
It's meat candy.
Mm. Take some coleslaw. Coleslaw on the bottom.
You're building a base here.
That's right. Because who's the hero? Pulled pork. All right? You then take your pulled pork like that. And you pile it on. That's a little bone. You just see them sometimes.
Sure.
You spread that out. All right? Now, do you like barbecue sauce?
Love it. Love it.
This is when you add the sauce.
At the end.
At the end.
So many people, when cooking anything on the barbecue, they pile the sauce on
You
when they're
don't
cooking.
need sauce. You don't need a lot of sauce. I'm using my Crazy Canuck barbecue sauce. You just want a little bit of that sweet in there to go with the slaw. You take that. Pulled
That's
pork
it.
nirvana, man. That's it. Yeah, you bend over, eat it.
You know what? I taste the Carolinas in my mouth.
You got it, baby.
Yahoo! I feel
yeah.
the southern drawl coming on.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Let's get ourselves some moonshine going and we can head on down the highway.
Woohoo!
I'm just telling you, this is good fun.
It really is, Teddy. Simple, a little messy, a lot of fun.
That's pulling your pork.
That's pulling your pork. We're going to
Cheers.
sit here and pull our pork a little bit longer. Thanks very much, Teddy. Any questions? Any information?
BBQS.com.
Check it out.